Hey, what's up? It's Spaz the Magician, and as you can tell from the title of this video, whether it's movies, YouTube, television, whatever video source, I'll be exposing some ways paranormal videos are made. Now, because this is a controversial subject matter for some, whether you believe in it or it's your livelihood and you make money in it, I have to put forth a couple of disclaimers. First and foremost, I am not telling anybody what to believe, who to watch, or what to watch. You make that decision on your own. I'm simply taking my information and magic knowledge and applying it to the situation because I get asked this after shows, do I believe in the paranormal? And the answer is no. And I always get asked, come up with explanations for things. That leads me to the second disclaimer. The methods I'll be talking about are not the only methods used, and they may not even be the methods used in some of these videos. These are just basic ways to do it because unless you're connected to a television crew, like an actual television crew movies, you don't really have a budget to go over, have over-the-top special effects. So I'll be just providing basic information. It's that simple. That being said, let me get right into the video and start by explaining why I'm making this. First and foremost, this is educational, so I'm passing on more information that my magic knowledge goes way beyond just the stage stuff, contracts, things like that. I understand how the stuff works for television, videos, things like that. And the second reason, and the main one here, is that people ask me, hey, do you have a problem with people exposing magic and stuff like that, your tricks, because they can find it out? And the answer is no, because that's fair game. So I kind of wanted to flip the script because if people can expose magic, then I can expose the paranormal, which is fair. Simple as that. And one final thing to get out of the way is, now that I'm thinking about it, is that people are using urban exploring to exploit, or I should say they're exploiting urban exploring with paranormal, and it's ridiculous. So it's pissing off a bunch of people in the paranormal community. So I'll be posting this video on both my YouTube channel here, Spaz the Magician, as well as the 360 channel as well on both Instagram and YouTube. So that being said, let me start by explaining why anybody would make these paranormal videos. For attention. They actually believe in it, psychological issues, things like that. And obviously money, because it gets attention. The more wackier, the better. People have a morbid sense of curiosity, which is perfectly fine. I mean, some of my tricks are just way out there too, but they're interesting. So obviously, with this type of market and competitor, each other, I should say, with this type of thing, everybody's competing with each other. So it's kind of setting up the atmosphere and stuff like that. So again, I get asked, do I believe in paranormal? And the answer is no. And I, again, will get asked, hey, can you come up with an explanation for these photographs, things like that. So let me get right into some of my favorite things that people do in these videos, because I'll explain to you how video technology can actually work. Even if you're not a good editor, there are just basic things here. So one of them is my favorite ridiculous basic is the security cam videos. It's the ones with the kind of the green lines on them. Most people understand that when you use a green screen, it blends everything with the background. But what they don't understand is that when you're looking at a television monitor, like a security camera, if somebody is dressed in the exact same color that the monitor is, you're not going to see them on the monitor. I know that sounds weird. It's exactly like a green screen, except you're looking through a monitor. So now you have one lens looking through another lens while being blended in the background. So not only if you have a color match, you can literally pick things up and move them around, and you will never see the person. Of course, you can use Adobe Premiere Pro and After Effects to actually edit people out and do things. There's also the CGI element, which I'll get into in a minute, because we're talking about video editing software. Unfortunately, nowadays, any actual possibility of realism has been completely removed. This is why I get a kick out of Bigfoot videos, because we can read the time off somebody's wristwatch across the street, but you can't get a clear picture of Bigfoot. It's just so ridiculous on how all of this works. So I just want to clarify that again. I know that sounds weird, but if you dress in the same color as a background monitor, you really can't be seen. And with a little touch-up work, basic editing, you can remove anything or add anything. This is now reverts into what I'm talking about next, which is CGI. A lot of paranormal videos you see on TV actually have CGI because the CGI is so subtle or it's so good, you absolutely cannot tell. This would include, having things zoomed in or zoomed out to the point where you can't even tell. And then, you kind of use what's called motion capture. If you're going to edit something in, you want to have motion capture, which is the most realistic way to do it, which is usually how TV, video games, things like that are made. If you want to look it up. It's called mocap, M-O-C-A-P. Short for motion capture, and the shit's like really expensive. So again, it's basically how Mortal Kombat games are made, things like that. They actually have actors in these suits and everything else, and then they pinpoint and add things in on video and stuff like that. So that's kind of an advanced way, but I said I was going to keep this basic. But so again, one of the most basic things you can do in a video is move things around. Here it is on video. And cabinets are opening, things like that. Cabinets are shutting. Opening something is a lot easier than shutting it because shutting it takes a little bit different. But let me explain. Fishing line is used in a lot of these things. You got somebody off camera pulling a chair with fishing line, you can't see it. Really strong steel thread works. There is such thing as steel thread. Don't ask, it's really weird, but it's steel thread. You have magnets. They can move stuff around on the table. People pretending to be telekinetic or look at this stuff. Another thing is that you have already broken stuff. So if let's say a plate falls on the ground, you can actually make it look whole, then break it, adding in sound effects afterwards. One of my favorites is when people get into the more complex editing methods, but the methods are very simple, but they just look complex. So let me explain what I mean. If you have a video of something peeking around a corner, and then you run over to it, you'll notice that the video is either cut in such a manner where it looks flawless, or the camera will go to the ground and then look up, and then all of a sudden it's cut there. So what it appears to be one consistent frame is actually cut. That leads me into my all-time favorite. Let's go into a room that a door was open and shut and show nobody's there. Okay, so first of all, again, opening a cabinet or a door or moving something forward is easier than moving it backward because doing it backwards takes a little bit more of a method. Either A, you can reverse the film, which requires an additional cut, or B, just set up an additional pulley on fishing wire. Pull one this way, opens, pull this one, shuts. Now that leads into how you want to open the door. And if you notice most of these videos, a door that's shut, you'll never see the doorknob turn. It just opens and shuts. And that's very simple. Either there's no locking mechanism or the mechanism has been taped shut. Or something's in there preventing it from shutting. So you'll have people twist the lock, show it being locked. Half of that shit's fake. It's not a real lock. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. So if you have something locked and then it unlocks, if it's legitimately locked, that means somebody is on the other side of the door, unlocked it, or the film was stopped, they unlocked it and then did it again. So this is why I have a problem where people are only aiming a camera, because it's like you hear something, it's like, did you hear that? And then they shine it over. And it's always never on camera. Never. They always hear a noise and then turn the camera. There's never a place where you're looking at the camera and all of a sudden there's a random noise. It's clever editing. And you'd swear that somebody was looking at it. Well, the noise came from that direction. I'm going to tell you a secret here. If you have somebody close their eyes, and you can do this as a test to prove this. If you close your eyes, and then you snap on one side of their ear, and then you snap on their other side of their ear. Then you snap below their chin. When you snap below their chin, they can't tell where it came from. It's really bizarre. So my point is, sound works a little differently. So you can be pointed directly at something, and you have no idea where the sound's coming. Where the sound's coming from. So this leads into, how do you show a room empty after the door has been either opened or closed? This one this one pisses me off because it's like you have to have a secondary person in it. So where the hell does the person go? And you'll notice in every one of these, the camera is never panned at the floor. And that is because anybody that's in these rooms, to completely show the room empty, because somebody could just hide behind a false wall, go under a pile of laundry. You could have a kid hide in the laundry basket, run behind a dryer. It's ridiculous. So, but if you want to make a room appear empty after a door's been shut, what you do is you go into the room, and this implies with even people like, oh, there's mirrors here. It's not panned at the floor. That's my point. So they rehearse these things where the person closes the door. And if you ever notice, the camera is never panned usually behind the door first. It's always to whatever side of the room the door is not on. Like, so if you enter if the door opens this way, the camera will pan this way. If the door opens this way, the camera pans this way. The reason why is because whoever's in the room is ducked down below the camera and scooching out to go outward. And so that's why it pisses me off, because it's like, it's such a clever editing technique. I don't want to say editing, but it's such a clever technique to show a room empty. It's like, it's actually aggravating that it is that simple to do. And so this is why I always tell people, if you're going to do a paranormal video, use a 360 camera. Nothing hides from that. Nothing. So that way you can see everything that's going on. So I kind of just want to get this, these basics out of the way. And to further go on, I'll even expose a device. There's a device in magic. I should say there's a device. I don't know if they make it anymore, but this thing can literally it's motorized, but this thing can make an actual coffee mug. It has a certain weight to it, but it can lift, I think, up to 5 pounds or something. It's something ridiculous. It's literally a motorized trick. And so you have a remote control, and it literally will move stuff, and you can literally float it around. It's absolutely ridiculous. And so another thing that even if you have nobody in the room with you, you can actually be holding. I can hold up the camera and hold a piece of string below, and look, the cabinet's opening and shutting. It's like, all right, come on, dude. But my point here is that I just wanted to get this out of the way, give you an education level. And again, these may not even be some of the methods used, but they are methods that are used, and there's thousands of methods out there. This is why I don't believe in them. These videos are way too easy to debunk, things like that. So, if you believe in it, cool. If you don't, that's fine. So anyway, I'm going to cut this video short now. Actually, I'm going to cut the video. And so I hope you enjoyed that. I just didn't want to not give you this video because I promised it and I'm rambling. So till next video, Spaz the Magician signing out. Take care.